Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to ROG Pulse, the weekly show where we dive into all things tech and gaming. My name is Jake Kalinsky, and this week we've got both Whitson Gordon and Jeff Kentman joining to talk about wired versus wireless.
Get rid of all wires.
Yeah, purge them.
Show.
Just done.
That's
it.
my opinion.
Okay. All right, we're gonna have a good show then, because I don't know if I agree, but we'll have that conversation in a minute. Whitson, what's good? What's good other than purging all the wires from your house?
Oh, I have not even come close to purging all the wires.
You're wearing
Jake.
a wired headset right now, like a heathen.
I know. Well, you know what? Yeah, that's one of the few wires I just can't get rid of. But I'm like one of those people that obsessively cable manages my desk and have everything like hidden away as much as humanly possible. It's a thing.
I'm gonna take a picture of the under my desk just to like make
Just
you
to
cringe and cry, because I've gone in and I've done the cable management, but I have too many things and it's impossible to contain them all.
I'd say you don't want to see my office. You don't.
It's a lot harder as a streamer because you got to have the wired mic and you got to have the lights and all of this other stuff. It's way harder for you. That's why I've got like a webcam instead of a real camera and a boom mic instead of a real. You know, it's too hard. I don't want the clutter on my desk.
I've got 3 cameras, 2 flight sticks, racing pedals, multiple PCs, Nintendo Switch, capture cards.
Now you're just bragging.
I'm sorry. It's no, it's more of like I'm actually
I have too much awesome stuff.
I'm
sorry.
trying to like slowly, like I actually recently cable managed the foot pedal cable to my desk, and it's completely invisible now, and I'm like, little wins here and there go a long way.
Yeah.
I want it to be pristine, but it is exhausting. This is not a cable management episode. We're just tangents. Jeff, what's good?
We just announced a ton of stuff this morning. Not for gamers, but for creators. If you want to see some cool new displays and laptops in our ProArt lineup, you can check out EdgeUp.
You can game on a ProArt display.
You can.
It would be awesome, probably.
Wait. So I didn't have time to read the article yet, but you linked a portable like half monitor touchscreen.
Yeah. So the PA 147 CDV. Now
I could plug that in via HDMI to my graphics card on my desktop and have a. Okay.
It's essentially, if you know the ScreenPad Plus, it's essentially a ScreenPad Plus that you can put on your desktop.
That's awesome.
Used that way. So
that would be very cool for streaming.
That's what I'm thinking is like. Well, I'm like, we're actually going to do an episode on streaming technologies very soon, and that's something where we might dive into exploring that as an option, because if it's part of the same Windows setup, I'm worried that it would pull you out of like the main screen, like the primary window, right?
Yeah.
Because Windows isn't necessarily programmed for that.
You have to be in borderless full screen.
Yeah, so that might be a little bit tricky. Amazing.
Unless you have it hooked up to a second streaming PC.
That is a thing. We'll explore that. That's really fascinating. But sounds really cool just as a creator.
Yeah. What is streaming though, except bodging together things that weren't meant to work together well. In a setup that is just barely functional, but it looks good as an end result.
I should really find photos of my very first streaming setup, because we were running tournaments where it was the jankiest thing ever. When I say like complicated jank, but the final product, what the viewers saw was pristine, and that's all that mattered.
Yeah, it's all that matters. It's that little rectangle.
Yeah, the tools and technology that we have at our fingertips now is makes it so much easier. But very cool.
But there's a ton of other stuff you should check out if you are interested at all in creative PC hardware.
Yeah, I mean, just speaking about ProArt, I've got the PA32U Cube behind me, and I mean, it's having that true, Adobe RGB color, like the real high quality display, 32 inches, 4K. Nothing like it.
So I wasn't gonna mention it, but I'm watching y'all on the PA32 UCG, which is the 120 hertz display HDR 1400 1152 backlight zone. Basically, creative monitor to end all creative monitors. So that's my.
It's the king.
That's my.
I'm on a budget monitor right now. And actually, I do really like my monitor, but it's I decided to spend the display budget in my house. Most of that went to the TV.
Yeah.
I hear that.
This is amazing. So if you're on the very cutting edge of HDR content creation, you want to check this out. But yeah,
you just like those are Whitson's buzzwords. He's like,
yeah, you just like. Speaking of HDR and Windows, though, we finally have a release date for Windows 11.
Yeah,
October 5th.
Yes.
I did not try out Auto HDR when I had the Xbox Series X in, and I should have. So I'm really excited to try it out on Windows on some older games that don't support HDR and see how it works. That's going to be, I think, the one cool gaming feature in Windows 11 so far. When we'll probably be digging into that more here on the site and whatnot. But October 5th, we now all have something to look forward to,
or be at least entertained by. Because I've been burned.
Can you install it on your PC?
I mean, not even that. I've just been burned by Windows updates before, right? Where it's not Windows, it's just applications being up to date with Windows, right? So you have all these apps that aren't necessarily running well, especially as a streamer, where I use a lot of third-party tools that are like maybe created by one person. It might take them a few months to get up to speed. So
or like drivers for like your audio interfaces and stuff like that. Those are always the kicker.
And
I don't think the driver model has changed.
Well, that will help a lot if that's the case.
Yeah.
I remember that being a problem on Mac OS. Like every time my friend would update Mac OS, it would just like break all of our audio stuff that we use to podcast.
Like Windows Vista was infamous for that.
Yeah.
Because I was fortunate when Vista came out. I had just built a brand new PC and I had drivers for everything and it wasn't a problem. But for people who had a system that was 3 to 5 years old at that point,
you're sending me through terrible memories right now, Jeff. Thank you.
I love Windows Vista, actually.
I just had that upgrade experience was horrendous for me. Like it was.
I thought it was great, but I was atypical. I had a brand new machine at that point, and it was all high performance stuff.
I was a Mac user when that happened. We don't talk about those
days. I don't know
days.
what's worse, you being a Mac user or you liking Vista. All of these things disgust me. Like, just no.
Do you guys want to hear something really embarrassing though, related to the Windows 11 stuff? There's been all this discussion about which processors are compatible because you need to have the built-in TPM. Well, that whole discussion pointed out to me the fact that the hardware TPM chip I have in my computer was completely unnecessary this whole time.
Yeah.
I've had a TPM built to the CPU and I never knew. I bought a TPM chip to plug into my motherboard and apparently it just sat there and did nothing for like 4 years. It was just $20 of nothing in my PC.
Yeah,
you do have to turn it on. Which, again, you update to the latest BIOS if you have an ASUS.
I think mine was on.
Yeah,
but it's probably because I thought I had to turn that on to get my hardware chip working, but it was really just turning it on in the CPU. Anyway, that was my embarrassing discovery that I definitely should have known but didn't.
So before we continue rambling about our little side topics here, I just want to point out that we are doing giveaways, but they are in Twitch chat only, as always, because our YouTube is different. The rules are different. And the other thing is all these commands like the exclamation mark keyboard and mouse and stuff, they work on Twitch, but our bot is not fluent in YouTube yet. However, we think we have a solution coming for that soon. We're always working to try to make it better, and we got something in the pipeline, so hopefully that will solve it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know the thing that we had in the pipeline was going to make that work.
There's a ton of things that are going to make our life better. With that transition, but that'll take time. We'll get there soon. The other thing that our next topic that we have lined up here is a PS5 now has a smaller heatsink. Why is this interesting? Why is this relevant?
It's interesting because
is the console itself smaller, or is the heatsink?
No, the console is lighter, which I think was what originally people.
Who's walking around with a PS5, bringing it to their friend's house? Like, it doesn't even have a handle. It's not a GameCube.
I have so many thoughts about this. They're probably going to get me in trouble. But...
Good. Think away aloud.
Go ahead.
Okay, so when everybody looks at a chip, right? They're running it all out. They look at the temperature.
Yeah.
right? And they freak out because it's like, oh, it's 95 degrees Celsius.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it is. It's also a piece of rock-like material. It can heal.
Yep.
It can deal with temperatures that would kill you.
Okay. I see where you're going with this.
If Sony discovered that, you know, there was thermal margin in the processor that still let it clock up to where it needs to be and dissipate the same amount of power that it needs to dissipate, they're like, okay, you know, but we have this heat sink that can do that plus 20% or whatever. You know, it can dissipate this much wattage. But, you know, maybe there's a supply chain issue right now, as there is with quite a few things. They're like, we need to like spread our metal supply out, or, you know, we need to, you know, it's easier for our supplier to make this or something like that. And it's like, well, just take that thermal margin out of it. It's not going to have an effect on the user experience. It's okay.
I agree with everything you're saying, as long as the fan isn't louder as a result.
Yeah, this is true.
But yes, it is funny how and I mean, this is even more true in the PC space, where so many people get so obsessed with like, oh, my CPU temperatures are 50 degrees instead of 60 degrees. I must be better. And it's like, no, your CPU is operating the exact same as someone who's 70 degrees. As long as it's not throttling, like it's all the same.
To some degree, sure. Yeah. I mean, it's like, okay, temperature is one parameter in several parameters that you need to worry about. And the one I personally like to worry about is how high the CPU is clocking and how loud is the system. And if it's not, you know, manufacturers set maximum temperatures, and if you're in a hot room or something where you need extra thermal margin, okay, I understand. But, you know, if it's like 15, 20 degrees C under that temperature and the PC is reasonably quiet, and, you know, it's extracting all that clock speed headroom that it can extract, like Ryzen processors.
What does it matter?
Then what does it matter?
Exactly. This is also how I feel, but I'm curious to know about noise levels, especially because like the PS5, my PS5, my like launch PS5 is actually quite quiet, and my PS4 Pro sounded like a jet engine. So I'm hoping that they stay on the correct end of that noise situation.
Sure.
But otherwise, I don't care.
I mean, console updates are always interesting because they don't usually happen in small changes like this. Usually it's like an announced, like we've changed the storage, and then there's other small changes that come with it, right? Like it's a new model. Like the Switch, for example, I kind of expected the new Switch to be kind of more of a level up that it is in terms of the actual hardware inside, because Switch will actually struggle with like Breath of the Wild at 1080p. So if you play Breath of the Wild, which is like a flagship title on mobile, it's only 720p and it runs the game fine. But as soon as you plug it into your TV, you're dropping down to 40 or below 30 FPS. You're dropping down to like 22 FPS.
That's typical console experience, though. It's like, what
but
do you
like
expect?
if it's a first party game, I don't think it should be typical console, right? And I think that as a developer, I mean, this is just my opinion. If you're releasing a second version of your console, this is your chance to remedy that by putting a slightly more powerful CPU inside.
It's typical on other consoles for first party games.
Maybe I just don't play console.
God of War, all 30 frame per second games on the consoles they launched on.
I've been playing Spider-Man in 60 FPS on PS5, and it's dope.
This is the beauty of new console launches is playing last generation's games at 60 frames per second.
It feels great. Like it really does. But
you could just play on PC at 144 frames per second.
This is where I can't really comment because I'm like, I just got a Strix G17 laptop here with the 300 hertz display and run like Doom Eternal.
That's the real way to do it.
And I'm like, this is I don't know what's going on with the consoles, but like 200 hertz Doom Eternal, friggin' sweet.
Oh, it's a beautiful thing. Doom Eternal at 200 hertz is just chef's kiss. It's beautiful.
Meanwhile, Pokemon Unite throws the FPS counter right on your screen at all times, and it's constantly at like 44. It's like, come on, like
are we going to talk about Pokemon Unite every single episode of Pulse?
I haven't played it in a while.
Should we just turn this into the Pokemon Unite show?
Last verse came out, yo. I got to get back in. He looks legit.
I actually have not played it because there's a reason for that. My spouse is monopolizing the Switch.
Playing Pokemon Unite?
Yeah.
I have heard this problem with everyone I know that owns a Switch. Is like, well, we had to get 2 Switches because me and my wife would just constantly like.
If my wife found out that Stardew Valley is on the Switch, game over. Like I would never touch the Switch again. She can't know. She can't know.
We're not going down that road, but it's like, that's exactly it. It's like you can't get into the game because it's such a strong hook for the people that do play it. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I mean, I'm not spending $400 or whatever the Switch costs now, I don't know, to like play this one game. Sorry.
That's why I held off on it so long. I was like, well, like, would I play like 2 games on this? Is that worth it? Probably not. Although I got the PS5 for basically 2 games, and I think that's worth it.
Yeah, me too. I agree with that. PS5, I've really played God of War and Spider-Man, loved them both, and I played both Spider-Man at this point. Miles Morales was much shorter than the first, but I thought they were both rock solid games. The first one being better, in my opinion.
Miles Morales was kind of more, the extra powers in Miles Morales were really fun.
No, it was incredibly satisfying, but it really felt like an in-between game to set up for like whatever's next.
For sure.
Like, even the fact that they kind of rolled the story, like the end of Miles Morales continues the narrative of the end of the first game, which is, I'm not going to spoil it because it's clearly where the next game's going, but
I don't even remember anymore.
Well, I mean, there's other people watching. I don't want to ruin it for anyone, but yeah, really fun game. But anyway, shifting gears a little bit here. One thing that I'm excited about is one thing I love is competition in any space. Whenever there's one company pushing another company to do better, that's good for everyone, right? And when it comes to streamer specific hardware like audio interfaces, there hasn't been a whole lot of competition. GoXLR is actually like they're nearly impossible to get because the company doesn't want to support it. The original developers have left the company, and they did their first ever real software update recently, which I appreciate. But some of the original developers started their own company called Beacon, Beacn. And Beacon is now releasing microphones that are USB, and I think they might have XLR versions as well, but they also have their own audio interface coming out this fall. And, to me, this is just a good thing, right? More competition, more streaming tools, more accessibility. I'm really interested in the Beacon audio interface myself. I'll probably try to pick one up. I have no good reason to, other than it's smaller than the GoXLR, and I think it's nicer looking than the GoXLR. But it looks cool. I'm pumped about that. That's just one little thing that was on my radar this week. We got to do the giveaway on Twitch. We're going to get that keyword on the screen. So basically the way this works, guys, you type this keyword in all caps. It's going to be above my face, above my head. Type Gladius, one of our mice that we're going to be talking about today, in all caps into Twitch chat, and that will automatically enter you into the giveaway.
Speaking of giveaways, I feel like we should plug Intel Gamer Days again. You guys, if you haven't checked it out, go to gamerdays.intel.com. It's a ton of giveaways. We are giving away, I think, a Zephyrus M16. Among some other gear over there. So thanks to Intel for being cool friends.
There's an M16 right there. I can go grab it.
Yeah. It's a pretty sweet laptop, guys. You should go enter that giveaway at Gamer Days.
We're not giving that one away. You're getting an unboxed one.
Not that one.
You're getting a currently sealed one. So, yay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool. A lot of cool stuff going on with Intel Gamer Days. Have you guys watched many of the Gamescom trailers? We've had a bunch of news coming out. All kinds of indie games.
I haven't much. I try not to get too hyped ahead of time.
Dude, it's depressing, but that's like the way to look at games nowadays, because every time I like my Twitch stream, they call it the curse. If I get really pumped about a game, there is no chance in hell it's going to be good. The most recent games that I hype the hell out of, and I've stopped doing this, but the most recent games that I was like, this is going to be the game. Valve made Artifact. Check those Steam chart numbers right now. There might be 3 people playing it as we speak. Hype the hell out of Artifact, and I hype the hell, because I was a big Mass Effect fan, out of Anthem. And those are probably 2 of the biggest flops in the last few years. Feels good.
What's the link between Mass Effect and Anthem?
Anthem is the same creators. It's BioWare.
Oh, wow. So I know so little about Anthem because it was such a flop. I didn't realize it was
BioWare. This is like, they're making an RPG. They're making a kind of an MMO in their own right, with the core minds behind Mass Effect.
I feel like BioWare doesn't have the same hype around it as it once did.
Well, not anymore after Mass Effect Andromeda and Anthem back to back. I mean, I
still haven't played all of Andromeda. I played like the first hour.
I haven't touched it.
I will at some point, but I'm finishing 3 right now at the Legendary Edition, and it's so good. It's so good.
I'm glad. I'm happy for you. Well,
it's one of those games you play, you don't want it to end.
2 little bits of information we did get is Valheim released an animated trailer for Hearth and Home, and Jeff knows this very well. I obsessed over Valheim so much, probably put in 200 to 300 hours of that game, because all my wife and I would do. We would just go in and just build together, and we streamed a ton of it. And we've taken a good several month break at this point, so going back is going to be really fresh, and there's tons of new content. But it'll be cool to see what the devs have cooked up, because this is an 8-man team that released a big explosive hit out of nowhere. And it's always a lot of pressure to be like a no-man studio or like a nobody studio, and then see sudden success and then have to follow that up. So we'll see what they've cooked up for us. A couple weeks that'll be out. And then, have you read about the No Man's Sky update?
No, I didn't. I was not aware there was another one coming.
Man, it's
they're really still working on that game.
They're adding some kind of like almost like a Sim City element or something. I haven't researched it too much because I'm terrified of losing my life to it. But yeah, there's this whole city and organization and building a community kind of element coming out to it. So it looks pretty cool.
I still have never played. I've kind of followed the story, but never been like compelled to actually dive in.
There's a lot going on, a lot to learn. Yeah, it's fun.
I just said I look like Mark Zuckerberg in the chat, and now I'm just gonna go like dig myself a hole. Thanks, guy.
Oh man, hey, I mean, if you
do kind of see it in the thing though, I do kind of see it.
Think of the money you'd have if you were Zuckerberg.
I mean, yeah, I guess I'd take it. I don't think I look like him in real life. Maybe just with my terrible lighting that makes me look super pasty. I don't know.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and draw our winner for the giveaway. We're going to draw 1 winner now, and we're going to draw 2 more later. I know the suspense is killing everyone, but I have 8,000 tabs open, and I got to find the right one. Here we go. So Zaro He Camuo. I probably butchered your name, but congrats, bro. You are, just please confirm that you're here in the chat, not some robot from outer space. And we will, there you go. He says, woo, perfect. So we'll have 2 more giveaways at the end of the stream. We'll send you a message after the stream concludes.
If you're a robot from outer space, do you really need $20 to Games Planet? Probably not.
These are the big questions that we must ask ourselves.
But the other big questions that we must ask ourselves are, should you have a mouse with a wire, or should you untether yourself from the shackles and live like a 21st century human being?
Oh man. So you think cables are just a shackle? Like,
so here's the thing. I actually was full stop wired mice until recently.
What was your transition? Like what brought you to want to change?
I was really tired of the cable tugging on the back of my friggin' desk. I mean, the reason I stuck with wired mice so long was that a lot of the wireless mice I had used in the past were like Bluetooth or just kind of like garbage wireless mice with like a ton of latency and I feel like I had so many wireless mice fail over the years. This was like, a decade ago. And my wired, like, cause the wireless connection would just stop working, right? So it's like the mouse like technically still works, but it's one more point of failure that back then I guess was just really common. Now I've been using this wireless mice for a while and it's like beautiful. Latency is so much better than it used to be. They seem much more reliable than they used to be. So I'm finally over it. The drag was what was killing me with the wired. I like the cost, I like the price tag, but I did not like the look of it on my desk, and I didn't like it always catching on the back of my desk.
Okay, I've got a couple questions for you because we're just talking about wired mice right now. You say the drag is your main complaint. What kind of games do you primarily play out of curiosity, and did it?
Oh, so I'm not even like I know where you're going with this. I'm not even like really that much of an esports gamer. I do play a fair amount of Overwatch.
But you never would have considered buying a mouse bungee?
I thought about I didn't really know that much about mouse bungees until wireless mice had gotten good enough that I just switched.
Okay.
But I mean, most of what I play is like story focused single player games, with the occasional like I play some Overwatch. I used to play a lot of Titanfall, but it just it just bugged me. And again, like the look, I like the clean look of a wireless mouse with no cables.
I think that's what sold me personally, is now that I have a wireless mouse and keyboard that I use as my daily drivers, and I get this just zero cable desk, except for the millions of cables behind the desk. It just, I don't know, there's something about it that I just really, really enjoy. And it makes me not want to go back to it. Cause before I had the one cable that was sneakily, roped around the back for the keyboard, and I would always put the wireless mouse dongle into the back of the keyboard, and it worked well. But double wireless. Jeff, how about you?
This is funny. Chat seems split so far.
I know.
On wired versus wireless.
Rightfully so, because there are pros and cons to each. Jeff, what do you prefer?
So, it really depends. The mouse I'm using, which we won't name, but is still wired. Because I've had it for years and I just like it, and like inertia is a difficult force to overcome. However, my keyboard is the ROG Falchion, and I love the fact that it does not have a cable on it, because keyboard cables are often, they're thick, they're inflexible, they are ugly, they take up space on the desk, and this thing is so sleek and compact.
I can't reach mine. I have like one of those custom coiled cables for my keyboard, and it's actually kind of awesome.
You can kind of, there you go. There's angle on it, but yeah, you can see how that's just
funny enough. You can see my keyboard is currently plugged in, but that's,
yeah, because it's charging.
Yeah, I was juicing it.
The Falchion looks really good. I'm actually getting one, Jeff. I'm pretty excited.
Nice.
It looks awesome, and I love this is not even the point of the discussion, but I super love that we make a keyboard that comes with PBT keycaps. That is one of those things that like, okay, only keyboard nerds know, but like to me that's a huge deal. I love the texture of PBT. I love the fact that they don't like get shiny over time and all that stuff. It's so awesome. And usually you have to buy them separately, because most keyboards come with the cheap ABS. The Falchion, I don't know how to say it. Falchion. The fact that it comes with PBT keycaps on board is like awesome. Mad props to whoever like made that happen at ROG.
But yeah, that's because I move it around a lot too. So we demonstrated how you can move this thing around on a previous episode of Pulse, which you should go check out, to suit how you're gaming. And again, like the freedom of not having a cord on it just makes that super easy. So, I'm a total convert for the keyboard.
So, I think you make an interesting point that the keyboards are in a way easier to switch to wireless, because you're not moving it around. And I think one of the things that's a little bit weird about wireless mice is that you have, well, first you have to charge. This is true of both, but I think the one downside a lot of people would agree on is that you have to charge the peripheral occasionally. With a keyboard, it's not that big a deal to plug in a cable, I guess.
This thing holds charge for like a week.
Yeah,
it's
that's
actually crazy. I was really impressed. But that's the Claymore II keyboard. It really holds a charge for a long time.
My thing about charge, so like, I mean, I hate plugging in the cables to charge, but now that we have wireless mice that can charge wirelessly, with like we have that wireless mouse pad that you can charge the Chakram with. So it just charges while it's on the mouse pad. Or the fact our Chakram also uses Qi wireless charging, which is not true of a lot of wireless mice. So like I have a wireless charger here already that I use for my phone. I can just plop the mouse on that and go to bed and it'll be charged in the morning. That's incredible.
Yeah,
that's like a huge boon to the wireless thing, and that's another reason that like finally convinced me to switch. Is like I just have a wireless pad that I can stick it on and be done.
So you want to hear something funny? Like I've never used a wireless charger until just like this past weekend. Yeah,
dude, it's a game changer.
It is. I was staying at a hotel, and the nightstand they have a Qi charger on it now, and I just took my phone. I was like, I've never used this before. Let's try it. It's just transformative.
Dude,
it's like
once you start using it, it's so hard to go back. And in fact, see this end table behind me?
Yeah.
I actually built a wireless charger into the end table.
That's
I like took a chisel and chiseled out an area, and so there's like a little Space Invader sticker on it. You can't quite see. Yeah. You guys can, if you guys Google this, you'll see a guide I wrote on how to do it. It's awesome. So I did that there and on my nightstand. So I just have like a little sticker, and I put my phone just on the table, and it charges.
Yeah. And so the Chakram can do that. Yeah, if you have a wireless charging pad on your desk.
So that's that's really convincing.
I've got a new supply drop of hardware coming, including a Chakram and the key charge pad. So I'm actually really excited to try that.
Nice.
Because that sounds really cool. But I will say, like, you said you hate plugging your phone in or your device into charge. It comes with this super long cable with the mouse or keyboard, and for me to just like go grab it out of my shelving behind me to plug in and charge, I'll leave my mouse charged in the morning while I'm like reading emails or something, and the mouse will hold charge for 2 or 3 days with heavy use. Like I use this thing I don't know how many hours a day, at least 12. So we're getting quite a few hours. Like I said, the keyboard is usually good for 4 or 5 days minimum. Like that's like, again, intensive using, but on average a week, for sure. So
you got a massive battery in that keyboard.
So we got to talk about latency.
Things to say about battery in a sec. Hold on though. I gotta share my solution to the wired charging problem. This is going to sound weird, but this is something I came up with when I was in media, and I was constantly taking down monitors and putting them up and stuff. I have like coat hooks that you can just get at Home Depot. I have some that come down, and it's like this, and I have attached those to the bottom of my desk.
Oh, so you just
so the charging cable, I can get it off my desk, and it kind of hangs on that hook on the back of my desk, so you can't see it. You get the wireless like clean setup, but then when you need to charge, you just reach behind, pull it forward. You don't have to like get on the ground and pull it up or like have some weird mess. Like it's the weirdest setup, but having all these hooks on the back of my desk is just glorious. Super weird like life hack that I highly recommend if you have a wireless keyboard that you need to charge.
Another point I want to make about our latest peripherals that makes life really nice. Because in the past, when you were charging your wireless stuff, it might have had USB micro B, it might have had USB mini B, it might have had some proprietary charging port on it, and that required you to have all these like mutually incompatible cables strewn around if you wanted to charge anything. And now all of our 21 peripherals have USB-C charging.
They do.
So
every single one.
You can just keep the one cable.
I'm so annoyed whenever a company releases a new product in 2021 that uses micro USB, and I'm like, come on.
What are you doing at that point? Like,
flip the table.
Seriously, it's unacceptable at this stage in the game. But
it makes life so much easier to just have that one. I have the one cable that came with the Falchion just kind of stowed behind my monitor, and when I need to charge
does that have USB pass-through too?
It does, but you need to be plugged
Claymore
in.
Claymore II does.
Yeah.
Okay. So it will not work over wireless.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. But USB Type-C, there's not an off switch, and then you've got the USB pass-through if you were running on wired, because again, you could want this keyboard and prefer wired, and that's fine. You can totally run it like that. The other thing is we have this battery indicator at the top left here. You can see it's like 3 out of 4 bars. It's to the right of the ROG logo. Nice. So when I see that get down to 1 bar, it'll turn red. It goes from like green to blue to red. When it's red, that's a clear indicator that, okay, well, my battery is getting low, got to charge it. And it doesn't feel too in your face. On the opposite side though, with our mice, they start pulsing red. Like right now, it's just on a standard RGB profile. But once the battery's low, the side lights, every single light will be like a flickering red. That's kind of like, hey, you're gonna want to plug me in because otherwise you're gonna have a bad time in your game. Nobody. I'd rather be warned than have my mouse die in the middle of a game. And I did not upgrade to wireless until I was forced to use wireless for streams at work. Honestly, I was always a wired mouse guy. I was, I grew up playing games competitively. I've had, even as a kid, I remember using the Wavebird. That was the first wireless experience I ever had. It was a GameCube with Wavebird. The latency on that thing, I could feel it. I hated that controller so much. And, I was just an advocate against wireless for the longest time. Bluetooth comes out. Trash technology. I'm sorry. Bluetooth is just garbage technology. If you own a wireless mouse, if you own a wireless mouse and you have it set to Bluetooth, change it right now. Plug that dongle in.
If you're gaming.
If you're not, I mean, Bluetooth is a convenience thing. So if it's easier for you to get a flight and you're just doing normal stuff on your PC, use a Bluetooth for that maybe. Another thing that
I'd still rather carry around the dongle and plug it in and use 2.4 gigahertz. But yes, don't use it for gaming. And a lot of people may not even realize that this switch is on the bottom of the mouse. It is cool that a lot of mice allow you to switch between Bluetooth and the 2.4 gigahertz wireless. But yeah, don't make that mistake because Bluetooth's polling rate is locked to like 200 hertz or something. And it's just, the latency is definitely noticeable. But we have a lot of people arguing in the chat right now about whether latency is noticeable on modern 2.4 gigahertz mice
versus wired.
Yes. Now, we have not talked, and I was going to say, we haven't actually talked about performance yet.
Yeah.
And
modern wireless mice are in a class of their own compared to the wireless mice of yore.
I think you'd be hard pressed to notice latency over a 2.4 gigahertz wireless connection. You definitely notice it with Bluetooth, but I think you'd be hard pressed to notice it with our mice. And our independent tests bear this out. If you go look at
independent tests, we're talking like a couple milliseconds, right? Like
even less.
One to two, like between 1 and 2.
1 millisecond on a lot of wireless mice these days, and that's like if you think you can notice 1 millisecond, you're full of it.
Yeah.
So I mean, just to like stress that point further, there are several esports athletes that play FPS that swear by using wireless over the burden of dealing with drag. Because again, like I said, my background is esports. I used to work at StarCraft 2 tournaments all the time. StarCraft 2 tournaments means we might have 128 players all playing in a pit, and they're constantly having to sit down and set up their gear, right? Let me tell you how much these guys hated having to get out their mouse bungee and like set it up and get it perfect and make sure it has the right amount of give, right? Because you need to like basically make sure that the mouse bungee is calibrated or to your liking so that there's so much slack at the end. And if you do it wrong, it's gonna be a problem for you. And obviously this is an extreme situation where these players they're on the go, right? They're not in their home setup, so they're having to tweak their stuff, but still it's one less thing to worry about. And this is even better than even dealing with a mouse bungee, which if you don't know what a mouse bungee is, it's basically something that elevates your cord so that it's up on your desk and it's feeding you a certain amount, so that it's not really dragging against the floor or the desk that's causing extra.
And I mean, look, the fact that pro gamers who are better than you or me or anyone here in the chat, I'm pretty sure, would tell you that they would rather have a wireless mouse than deal with cord drag should tell you everything you need to know.
Right. Well,
right.
I'm sure yeah, exactly. I'm sure there's plenty that will still would rather have that 1 millisecond advantage in theory. But yeah, I can't tell the difference.
Maybe if like every other part of your system is optimized, like everything. From hardware to the software stack to the monitor, you got that 360 hertz display.
There are much better places to optimize than your mouse cord.
Right. Then
that are going to get you many more milliseconds.
Then maybe start worrying about the latency of the 2.4 gigahertz connection. But everything. So here was honestly the biggest, the weirdest thing that I didn't expect when I switched to a wireless mouse. Oh no, Jake, the laptop command is showing the wrong laptop.
Oh really?
In the chat. Sorry guys.
Really?
Yeah, it's still showing the Alan Walker Special Edition. Cool people type exclamation laptop.
Yeah, it should. For today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. Oh,
yeah.
for some reason I thought it was something different in the thing.
Nope, not yet.
Everything is so tiny on my screen right now.
I know.
See.
We're still rocking the Alan Walker promotion.
Someone said fix the command, and I thought they were talking about that. Anyway, when I switched from wired to wireless, one of the first things I thought when I started using the wireless mouse was, wow, this is heavier than the wired mouse, which is true in some cases because you do have a battery in there.
Yeah, I can feel the difference.
Well, okay, but here's the weird thing. First of all, you can't necessarily compare two completely different mice.
Well, that's true, but the Chakram
even the exact same mouse. So
it's similar.
The one that I was using, the wireless version is actually lighter than the wired version. But because the weight is distributed differently in the mouse, it's like a lot of that weight is in the back of the mouse where the battery is. It felt heavier. It felt like there was more drag on the mouse than the wired version, even though it was actually lighter. That to me is really, really interesting. And some mice have like weights or whatever, you can adjust that, or some mice are just better built, so the battery isn't like dragging you down. But like something like the Chakram is super lightweight and designed to have that really good weight distribution. But that's a really interesting thing when you go for certain wireless mice or cheaper wireless mice that you may notice is that it may, even if it's lighter, if the weight isn't distributed properly, you might have a bad time.
Yeah. Keras is our lightest mouse, I believe. This one right here, the Keras wireless.
Oh, it is. Did I say the wrong one?
You said Chakram, but yeah,
Keras. I meant the Keras.
Yeah,
the Keras.
Keras
I meant the Keras. I'm sorry.
The
Keras
lightest
is the
mouse.
lightweight one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smallest. It's a little too small for my hand. I mean, I think it's a little too tiny. Yeah. Gladius is much more comfortable the
Gladius is for me.
I'm also getting a Gladius. I'm pretty excited to try it out.
I'm swapping to Chakram. I'm going to Chakram wireless soon. So I've been using the Gladius for a while.
You'll get that sweet wireless charging.
And there's a lot of factors when it comes to mice, because one thing about you'll see with the Chakram is it's just straight down. The trigger is like an arc, where you have more of a leveling out here. That's not as much of a angle down, which I prefer.
Oh, right.
So I think in the end I might like the Gladius 3 the most, but I got to give them all for a spin, man.
Yeah, I know. I would like to try them all out, but I'm going to start with the Gladius. I just think that's probably going to fit my hands.
So latency, I mean, people seem to definitely, a lot of discussion in chat, just kind of arguing whether wireless is up to snuff or definitely is up to snuff. But I think we all kind of agree that the 1 millisecond is not noticeable.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and here's another thing to back that up. So I know everybody's sensitive to latency in FPS games. If you've watched previous episodes of Pulse, I'm a rhythm gamer. So I play DDR.
Latency doesn't matter in rhythm games.
Oh,
I'm kidding.
Wait. Got my DDR pad. Got to show my DDR pride.
Maybe so. Whitson, here's a really deep inside joke. Like maybe if you're a pump it up player, latency doesn't matter. But for DDR, it does.
Damn, the shade.
Shot fire. I actually don't know what that game is.
Pump It Up is a trash version of DDR.
Oh,
okay.
Pump It Up fans, get out.
Wow.
No. Pump is cool. It's cool. Don't worry about it.
It's trash.
But yeah, I mean, like the scoring windows for that stuff. I mean, it's super narrow. I play with a wireless headset, 2.4 gigahertz wireless headset. And it's indistinguishable from wired performance. Or like
you're just talking about
speakers. Yeah, like the inherent delay or like distortion introduced by having speakers reflecting into the room is probably worse than just directly having the cups on your ears. So it's fine. It's totally, playable. So I'm not worried about it. I'm at a point, and I'm probably too old, at 33 to like be super competitive twitchy. So it's like this is just not something I'm worried about. So.
No,
but yeah.
Latency to me is no longer an issue. It's all about like the charging and just kind of dealing with the weight of the battery and you have to work a little bit harder to find a mouse that's really well designed on the wireless side. But with the advent of like the lightweight mice being like the new hotness, I think manufacturers are taking that into consideration a lot more. I'm not a lightweight mouse guy though. I like them a little heavier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't deal with super ultra lightweight mice. I need something. I need some.
Yeah, I feel I'm just like flailing around when I have a lightweight mouse. I will overshoot my targets all the time, and a lot of it's like muscle memory, right?
So
I'm sure we could get used to it.
I honestly think that's it's just a generational thing. We're used to. I mean, we
Right.
grew up with ball mice or trackpads, right? We grew up in a dark age where,
Guys,
you
we're
know,
so old.
we're having LAN parties with these, you know, these awful trackpads. Like, you know, what am I thinking of? What's it called? Is it called a trackpad?
What are you talking about?
Where it's a big ball in your hand and then it
trackball.
Oh, trackball.
Trackball. Okay, so I was close.
Oh yeah, if you getting on a trackball is.
Oh man, like my buddy still swears by him, and he's like actually so mad that he can't find any new ones. I'm just like, dude.
Oh, they've like started coming back actually. Yeah, he can find new ones now. They've like actually brought back some of the classics.
But he's in my friend circle. He's by far the best CS:GO player or Counter-Strike player. So
really,
yeah, no, it's like whatever, man. Like if it works for you, then it works. So
yeah, you know, some people play with game pads. So
sorry, excuse me, I just speak a little bit. But yeah, no, we've come a long way, and I think we're used to a little bit more heft in our mice, right? Those mice were never really super lightweight, super, you know, smaller. And I know a lot of younger people do prefer a mouse more like a Keras, and where it's just about the lighter weight and just whipping it around. And the resources for, you know, the options that exist nowadays are just better than they were when.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And everybody can have what they want. That's the glory of it all.
True.
If you want something or you want something a certain way, you can get it these days.
It's pretty dope. All right. Latency done. Is drag worse than latency? I think so.
Yes.
I can't really say I have a strong opinion.
Okay. You never like you don't have a problem with your mouse getting caught in the back of your desk and that being like a burden where like and you gotta like reach back there and pull it up and get the extra slack up?
No.
Wow.
Not really. I have a long enough cable on here that it's not really a problem. I'm also not like doing these huge exaggerated movements at low DPI. If I was doing that, it would probably be worse, but that's just not how I use the mouse.
You know what else is like, again, we're focusing so much on the mice, and it's like important to note too that like it's one aspect of the entire experience, right? Like the combination of mouse and mouse pad makes a big difference.
That's true.
Well, so like you know, just because like you buy the difference between the wired and wireless version of a mouse is slightly different. Like maybe you need a faster pad to make up for it, or something like that as well.
Just out of curiosity, you guys use hard or soft mouse pads?
I use the bare surface of my IKEA desk.
Whoa,
savage!
Watch out, we got a badass over here.
It's razor. I mean, it's like it's really smooth. I mean,
here's my problem with that.
Smoother than the hard pads I've used.
I did that for a long time, and it kind of seemed like that was what everyone was doing for a long time. And then my mouse and keyboard would leave these like black marks all over my desk, or like wear away at the paint. And I was like, oh no, mouse pads are still a thing now. So I have like a big desk mat. It is not one that is good for gaming. I am working on getting another one. I still don't know whether to go for hard or soft. I think I'm going to go for soft though. I think hard is just going to be too fast for me.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yes, the full-size desk mats are sweet.
It's a game changer, man.
I think this is like the way to go, especially because like we were talking about earlier, then you can move your keyboard around. I don't know about you guys, but when I game, I move my keyboard like this.
Yes.
Look. Like I angle it. Yeah. So I move it to the left and angle it, and then I have a big space to move my mouse.
That is the point of this line.
I angle it that much. First of all, also I angle it the opposite direction. But I guess if you want to line it up with the desk mat, you could just like do this.
It'd be so uncomfortable. Yeah, no, this is the common form that a lot of people use.
Yeah, and that's what I do. Although the correct thing to do would be to take that number pad off.
Oh yeah. Now you got all the room you need.
Yep. Dude, this is like more people have been making fun of me in the chat for some of the things I've said about latency and whatnot today, but the most hate I ever get is when I say like down with number pads, because some people really love the number pad on their keyboard. And if you say that it's not ergonomic, because it's not, it gives you way too little space to move your mouse, and then your arms over here, it is not the ergonomic way to use, but they will just flame you. They will with a blowtorch. So I'm really into this keyboard that lets you switch it to the left side. Not that I think I'd be good at. I don't think I could do it with my left hand very well. But what I would probably do is just keep the number pad separate, and pull it out and use it on like the rare occasions that I'm like doing calculator stuff. Yeah. Can you so I don't know this about the keyboard. Can you use the number pad separate, or does it have to be connected to the keyboard? Okay. So yeah, I would just like keep it in my desk drawer and slide it on when I'm like doing Excel stuff, and take it off the rest of the time.
I think if they were to ever make a version where this could be detached, it'd be so specialized. It would need its own dongle and everything, right? That would be interesting, but I think that's too niche overall.
I'd pay for it, to be honest.
I would too, in a heartbeat.
I miss that keyboard.
Do you want it back? I'll send it back to you.
Nah, that's fine.
He likes his Falchion too much.
I've got mine.
We could have a whole discussion on whether 10 key, 10 keyless, or 65% is the best size keyboard, but I feel like we should save that for another Pulse episode, because I could talk about that for an hour. I have a TKL right now, but I understand some of the slightly smaller keyboards. But once you get rid of the arrow keys, I'm out. No, thank you.
That's why I jumped on the Falchion when I did, right? Is because that 65%.
It has the arrow keys. It has the delete key.
Has the page up, page down, insert, delete, which can all be remapped to whatever you want them to be. Just consider them 4 function buttons. But yeah, I love it.
I'm very excited for my Falchion. It's gonna be sweet. What switches do you use, Jeff? Where'd we go?
I just hit I hit the numpad when I moved it. And
is that like at the Oscars when they start playing the music for you to like get the hell off the stage? Is that what's happening here? Jake's like, stop talking. Here's the outro.
It's time to end the show. Well, I do need to get the next keyword set up for the giveaway, so stay tuned. We're gonna get that going in 1 sec. I'm not trying to kick you off.
You were asking me what switches I liked.
What switches do you like?
This will probably also get a lot of flame, but I am 100% okay with Cherry MX Reds.
I thought you were going to say browns. People like linears now. Linears are the hot new thing. Everyone hates browns. I still love.
I love browns.
Tactile.
Mm-hmm.
I like.
I've got frankly bad wrists, really prone to RSI, and all this. Any impediment to the key press, like that you have to push through, is torture for me. I can't deal with it. And so like the linear switches and the light actuation force are godsends.
Yep.
So I don't really care about the tactility or the sound. I just don't.
So hold on, guys. Jeff uses red. I use brown. Jake, you use blue. We got the whole spectrum of colors right here represented.
Yeah.
Go Power Rangers.
I used before I started this job here. I actually used. God, does that make you the Brown Ranger? Who wants to be the Brown Ranger? But I used brown in I'm gonna name drop. I shouldn't. I used the same keyboard for a long time. They were brown switches for like over a decade. Different company, and I really enjoyed that keyboard. And it took me a little while to adjust, but I really disliked red. Just couldn't do it. Too. Really did not like red.
Sorry, Jeff, you're a pariah now.
Yeah.
No, I mean, a lot of people like red, but blue feels. I mean, I got that more tactile click. It's a little loud compared to a brown.
I actually really like the high tactility of blues. I just hate the sound.
Yeah, I
actually really like the sound for like 15 minutes, and then I'm like, kill me now.
So I got closed ear headphones right now, so that helps. And also, my mic doesn't pick it up as bad as they used to, but that was the other reason to not want blue is as a streamer.
I'm shocked you use blue as a streamer. I don't have it get picked up.
NVIDIA Broadcast makes all things possible with all switches. So
yeah, even our own AI noise cancellation.
Painful Split in the chat says red definitely causes me to make more typos. This is also really, I have tried so many different switch types and keycap types to figure out what made me make more typos, and it turns out that the Cherry profile switches at the end of the day were like made a huge difference for me. It's weird how much the little stuff matters.
So the keyword is Claymore. If you haven't typed it in chat, you got another 30 seconds or so before we draw a winner. This is the Claymore II keyboard. We've been showing it off all stream. It's a beauty. We're not giving it away. That might seem misleading. I just wanted to choose keywords that were relevant to our discussion today.
That'd be cool. Maybe one day.
We are working on having actual hardware giveaways in our streams probably once a month.
It is a goal.
It is something that we are looking to do. But we're giving away a $20 Games Planet voucher in just a few minutes,
which you can use to buy a game and then save money on it so that you can go buy a new keyboard.
Yeah.
You're gonna buy a game eventually,
right? All kinds of games.
I bought new games this week, even though I still have a huge backlog. It's been a while since I did that, but I bought like some old games too. You
got to get Hades, man. I finally beat Hades.
I do need to get Hades, but I already have so much on my list. I'm like just now hearing about this game Ghost Runner. I know you streamed this like multiple 9 months ago.
Yeah, multiple.
It looks awesome. I'm like really excited to play it. Possibly when I'm done with Mass Effect, we'll see.
That's a game that you put on your TV when like 4K
Is it
HDR.
a TV one?
I think it's beautiful. That game is just.
But it's
gorgeous.
So fast paced that I want to use 144.
Oh,
hertz
that's right. Your TV
definitely want the high refresh rate monitor.
Yeah. Well, no, that's when you plug your PC into a 120 hertz TV.
I actually am. I do have a PC hooked up to my TV. It is 120 hertz, but I would have to go down to 1080p. My TV is not HDMI 2.1. That'd still probably be fine. I'd still be able to maybe use the HDR, but it seems like such a fast-paced game that it's a monitor game, not a kickback at the TV kind of game.
You get really into it.
Now maybe I can do it if I'm working on something where I might need an HDR monitor shipped over here. So maybe I will just wait until I get one of those in the office.
I played some Ghost Runner at 300 hertz. Unbelievable, dude.
Unreal.
It's incredible. All right, let's draw our giveaway winners. We got two. We're gonna pick two winners right now. If you type Claymore in chat, you've been entered into Twitch chat. Our bot will now choose our winners. Navy Penguins, please confirm that you're with us. You're still here.
I love it when usernames are easy to say out loud.
Like it's like, oh, I am a robot. Perfect.
Oh, well,
good to know. Good to know.
Disqualified.
I actually didn't expect anyone to ever say that.
He said, "I'm a robot," which I don't think a robot would use contractions. So sorry, Navy Penguins.
We're on to you.
You've been found out.
We know that you're made of flesh and bone. And one more coming on up. Plague 767 Plague. Please let us know whether or not you're here.
And Ghost Runner is on Games Planet. You can use
Battlefield's going to be on Games Planet. Battlefield 2042.
Dude, yes, Battlefield 2042, guys, is up for pre-order on Games Planet if you buy an ROG laptop with an RTX 30 series card. Or you get
there's a link.
Battlefield
There's a link in
2042
chat. It's been posted in chat all day. I think you can actually type !BF 2042 and that should in Twitch chat. That should also give you the link to.
Get some.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say you get some pre-order bonuses too with it.
Yeah. We're gonna be streaming.
And I think access to the beta, which we'll be streaming when it's happening
soon.
I'm pretty stoked.
We know the beta's in September. That's all we know. We know the game drops in October. But we'll be diving into that pretty much as soon as we can. Once the beta's out, we're gonna be playing it. We're gonna probably stream it too much. I think that's my expectation. Is like normally we only game like once or twice a week, but I might game on the weekend on the RG channel. Why not? Like YOLO. We'll see. We'll see.
If you're playing it anyway.
Might as well, right? So cool. Yeah, so I mean, I think the verdict today is it's definitely worth swapping to wireless. There are still pros to wired. One thing we didn't mention, and Jeff, you might actually have the exact answer to this because I don't know. Things like reflex latency analyzer with NVIDIA, right? That's when I take my Chakram core and I plug it directly into my panel that supports RLA. Is that even possible with a wireless mouse?
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
It works fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it just it doesn't require a specific mouse. It just requires you plugging the mouse into the display so that it can measure the latency from that.
It doesn't work. It wouldn't work with Bluetooth essentially, but you can plug the USB dongle. You can plug the USB dongle into the PG259 QNR, and it'll work just fine because the signal once it reaches the dongle is.
But it won't measure. It won't include the latency, the 1 millisecond of latency from your wireless mouse. It's measuring. It's measuring the latency from mouse
click. Yeah, essentially.
Not from the click, but from its recognition of the click.
Got it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But it's also it doesn't really matter.
It's such a marginal thing.
Exactly. Like we've already established that it's basically nothing. So yes, for all intents and purposes, you can use a wireless mouse to decrease your latency in every other aspect of the chain with the reflex latency analyzer if you have a monitor that supports that.
Very cool. Knowledge is power. But
so wireless is the way to go.
Wireless is the way, but I love how chat was really split on this. Like I find that.
Oh, you know what? I can respect the wired. If only for not having to charge it. I totally get it. But wireless charging, game changer. Yeah. Welcome to the new millennium, guys.
USB-C, huge improvement in convenience.
That too, yeah. Huh.
So.
Yep. And attach a door hook to the back of your desk. Problem solved.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take pictures of the underside of my desk to send them to Whitson to like cause him to have a panic attack on cable management.
Psychic damage.
Looking forward to this.
Tomorrow we will be streaming Guild Wars 2. I'll be playing it for the very first time. My brother used to work on this game, and I've still never played it because I'm a terrible brother.
You are a terrible brother.
I know. He worked for them for a very short time, and it was way after the game came out, so I don't feel that bad. But yeah, we're going to be diving in. I'm going to see what the game's all about. I think we've got some special promotional keys to give away for Guild Wars 2 during tomorrow's stream. So look forward to that. I believe we have 4 or 5 to give away. I will have to double check. But
isn't it free to play?
It is free to play, but there's like there's things that you can purchase within the game. So they're like there's certain special bundles that we have that we're giving away.
Nice.
So that's sweet. And we're going to be streaming that again next week, as well as just keeping our eyes out for that Battlefield 2042 launch. Last but not least, I'll be showing off my fancy new flights. I'm going to show them off. Let me just give you guys a preview. They're not.
While you get it, I should probably go ahead, go get them. I was also just going to mention that, guys, if you like tuning into ROG Pulse, but you can't always make it live, or you don't want to watch on video, we are finally, God willing, going to be getting this up as an audio podcast on places like iTunes and Spotify. That is one of my tasks within the next week. So if you want to listen to us on the go, on your commute, when you're mowing the lawn, you'll be able to do that easily. So keep an eye out for that. We'll hopefully, once that happens, we'll be like pasting the link in here and stuff. But
well, look at that.
These are
dude.
Yeah, so these are going to be mounted to my desk for Space Sim streams coming up. They even have RGB strips along the top, which I'm a nerd for.
Oh my gosh! Because of course.
Wow. Who makes those, Jake?
Yeah.
But do they work with Aura Sync, Jake? Because if they don't,
no, they don't.
Why even have RGB?
Yeah, but this is my treat myself of the year gift. I've been wanting these Virpil Technologies,
okay.
The European company. But me being a dingus, I got the wrong mounting plates for my desk mounts. So I have to get new ones, which is a big boo-boo on the wallet. But oh well, it was like as much money to return them as it would be to just buy the other ones. So
yeah.
But yeah, these are gonna be super fun to program. I mean, it's gonna be a lot to go on. We're gonna do some Star Citizen streams. I'm hoping I can use one of them for flying in Battlefield. I think that'd be really fun to just have like the one airplane flight stick. I don't think they'd let me use dual stick. Obviously space sims are a little bit different. I'm also going to be doing a Star Wars Squadron stream in VR. I've never done a VR stream on the ROG channel.
Oh, you're doing it in VR.
Yeah. I've never done a VR stream before. So I've got my Vive base stations out. I'm going to install them on the walls this weekend, and I'm going to get back into doing VR gaming because I haven't done VR gaming in over a year now for I didn't have an office. I was in a little closet for a long time, and I've been pushing it back and pushing it back for no good reason other than just being lazy and not wanting to mount the base stations. But so some cool stuff on the horizon. I'm really looking forward to this is gonna be. I have feet pedal as well. So when it comes to VR, it's both feet are gonna be controlling pedals, and with Squadrons, I'm going to find a really cool control scheme. Usually I like to have, brake and acceleration essentially, but you need to have throttle somewhere too. But anyways, I'm a big space sim nerd. People are saying I'm flexing. Yeah, I might be flexing a little bit. This makes me real happy. But
guys, if you had these flight sticks, you'd be flexing too. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, and these are super customizable. You can change everything. You can change the springs underneath. It comes with multiple springs, so if you want it to be a little bit more harder or softer to turn, there's also, you can change, I forget what these are called. Wow, I should know that. But cams, these are the cams, and you can change the cams in the bottom. There's really customize it to your exact liking. So super high quality product. I'm really pumped about it. Can't wait to give them a try. But cool. Normally we don't promote other companies, but I'm sorry. That's
cool stuff.
Well, and we don't make a flight stick, do we?
We do not
make a flight stick.
There you go. You can use this flight stick with all your ROG gear.
Yes.
Hell yeah. Now I just need an ultra wide ROG display, and boom, I'm a space boy.
We make some good ones. I can tell you.
I got to put in a sample request.
The problem is when you stream, you can't use the ultra wide.
Right.
Aspect ratio.
Right.
So
or you change your layout.
Yeah, I can change my layout. You can show an ultra wide and then
that's true.
And then fill the bottom of the screen with different cameras.
Yeah, and have
10 different cameras showing off my.
Yep.
That would be cool.
People want to see the Alan Walker socks on my feet. This is the time to show a feet cam with
all right
the racing pedals.
The pedals. Yeah. Alan Walker ROG socks on the racing pedals. Guys, this is perfect synergy. I like it.
Okay, well, that's going to do it for this episode of Pulse, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Congrats to the winners. I'll be sending you guys a message momentarily. We'll see you next time. GG's, and take care.